What's going on, everybody? Smarty here, and welcome to another edition of Ask Smarty thing where I answer questions that you send me. Anyway, okay, so starting off from the Facebook questions, we have Juan Jose Martinez. He's back again from the first episode. He asks, if you could have any celebrity's voice, whose would it be? I would say David Michael Bennett from Steam Powered Giraffe. The guy who plays the spine with the really, really deep voice that goes all the way down to here. Except I can't do his voice that well, but when he's playing as the spine, it's very much like this bassy, sort of like, very, I don't know if I want to say baritone, but like very bassy voice. Like, I couldn't even try imitating it, but he's all the way down here. He's like talking like this. It's just out. Okay, no, I'm not gonna sing. Tara Morabito asks, what is the worst game that you have played in your life? I'm gonna go and say well, okay. This is a two-part question, or this is a two-part answer. So if we're gonna go with like the most hilariously bad game I've ever played in my life, and the worst game that I just absolutely hated, hilariously bad is gonna be Deadly Premonition, because just play it. It's insane to the point, like, when you play it, you'll realize that this was a big mistake, but you want to keep playing anyway. It's one of those games. As for my most hated game that I think should never have been made, and I would throw every copy in a landfill if possible, I would say Two Worlds. Two Worlds was such a disappointment to me. Like, I saw it, and then they had some online multiplayer to it. Like, at first it looked like it would be like Oblivion, because at the time I fucking loved The Elder Scrolls Oblivion. And then after that, they basically revealed that there was going to be some online features. And I was like, oh shit, they're going to do this, and it's going to be like Oblivion Online with like co-op and stuff like that. It's going to be amazing, I can't wait for it. And then I reserved it, and that was like the first game I put $60 down on in full. And when I went to picked it up with my cousin, and we went home, played it, and when I started to play it, I basically walked through a wall when you aren't supposed to walk through a wall, and when that happened, I just kind of looked at it like, I think I made a mistake. This is one of the worst things I've ever played in my life. It was like so disappointing to me that I could not sit through it any further. I was so ashamed that I paid $60 for a shitty game like that I immediately was like, okay, I need to return this. I want my money back. It was so bad. Alright. So, ironically enough, it seems, I feel like these two were sort of conspiring with each other. So, Kiki De Vera asks, which is the best game you've ever played? No, I said that wrong. Which is the best game you've ever played? I have three. I have BioShock Infinite, because honestly, BioShock Infinite is, in my opinion, one of the best games I've ever played in my life. I wouldn't say that because it's new. I'm saying that because just the entire ride of the storyline. Like, that game has a very good storyline, and it takes inspiration, and I did my research on this, it takes inspiration from this movie right here, Blue Velvet. I don't know if you could see that. There you go. Blue Velvet, it takes inspiration from it in its visuals. Like, throughout the movie, you're watching it, and you can tell, like, everything looks so clean and crisp, and it looks so beautiful. But while you're going through it, and this happened to me during the first 30 minutes when you're during the raffle thing, the moment, like, you're walking through and that happens, you're like, everything doesn't seem like it is. Everything is a little eerie, and I really don't like it. But as I said also, it's the visuals, the gameplay. Granted, part of it was sort of like a fetch quest. Like, for the most part, it seemed like a fetch quest, but I can get past that. And then, like I said, the storyline is fantastic. The story to that game, I want to play that over. I haven't touched 1999 mode because I'll be honest, I'm terrified to. I feel like if I'm gonna play that 1999 mode, I'm gonna do a Let's Derp of it, and that would be kind of funny. Yeah, I think that's one of them. Another one I have to say is the Elder Scrolls. Pretty much the Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Skyrim's a really good game. I love how well put together it was. I don't care how long it took for them to make it. Same with BioShock. It was well deserving of that long wait. And the third game I would have to say is Eternal Darkness: Sanity's Requiem. Never have I played a game that was so Lovecraftian in practice than that one, and Call of Cthulhu: Dark Corners of the Earth is a Lovecraftian game. I consider actually Eternal Darkness more Lovecraftian than this, and holy fucking shit, it's amazing. Like, everyone who was in the Skype call with me when I was playing that game, when I encountered the bathtub scene, they will tell you the story of how funny it was for me to encounter that, because from that point, it's so eerie in practice. Like, it's so eerie throughout that game that they don't use jump scares, really. The only jump scare they use is the bathroom scene, and that's it. And I wasn't expecting it, and when I got to it, I literally fell out of my chair in fear. That's how good it is. That's how good you know a game is when you aren't expecting something, and it just takes a hard left turn on you. So, yeah, hopefully that answered the question. Next question by Cody James Hammer. He asks, will you do Tony Hawk's American Wasteland, Thug 2, and THPS 4? Now, obviously, me saying that I was gonna put Let's Plays on the back burner for a while, I meant, obviously, that, like, I didn't wanna, like, I'm hanging on to doing Let's Plays for a long while, but I do want to do some live streams, and those are some games I do want to live stream. Mainly Tony Hawk's Underground 2 and American Wasteland. Those two games I would love to do live streams of, because I fucking love the Tony Hawk series. Those are some of my favorite games of all time. That's actually one of the games where whenever it was announced, I would immediately put down a pre-order, or I would rent it multiple times from the local video place that had games in bulk there. Yeah. So, if I could partially answer your question, I'm gonna do them in live stream form, but I don't know about Let's Play, seeing as I'm not gonna get into that. You could watch the video, the update video, if you want. I won't go into it any further. I think we've talked about it enough. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the Twitter questions now. Next question, Punky asks, chocolate or vanilla? Mint chocolate chip. Alright, next question, Derek the Bard on Twitter asks, when will Little Thulu... Derek the Bard on Twitter asks, Dear Smarty, when will we learn Little Thulu's origin story? Why have you not told this tale until now? Do you fear his mighty wrath? Honestly, I haven't done the Little Thulu origin story because, one, I'm not so great with storylines, two, I don't know how I would tell the Little Thulu origin story. I mean, literally, he shows up in the Machinimist, attacks Master Chief, dismembers him, and that's it, I take him home. I don't know what, maybe I could, like, do some sort of thing where, like, he hints at his backstory and explains, like, what it was like in what was it, Riley? But yeah, I don't know what I could possibly do. I would love to maybe do a storyline based on Little Thulu, but I'm not a great writer for storylines, and I know my buddy Jeff right now, after watching this video, is going to come to me and say, you should totally do this, because he's been trying to pitch for ages when I was doing the Machinimist. He's been trying to pitch a Little Thulu storyline where he goes apeshit and I have to stop him, but I honestly kind of turned that down. It was a decent idea, it's just I didn't want to do it. So yeah, and also, do I fear his mighty wrath? Really? Am I gonna fear this thing's mighty wrath? Look at his little tentacles! KCGL77 asks, of all the games you played, which game were you the most disappointed with? Two Worlds. Done. Okay, so now we're gonna go to the Tumblr questions. Incessantly Obstinate asks, I have a couple of questions for you. both regarding the BBC. David Tennant or Matt Smith? And secondly, do you watch Sherlock? And there's a third question, and this person says I lied. If so, what do you think about it? Hope you answer this. P.S. You're awesome. You're awesome, too. Okay, so... I mean, it wouldn't regard the BBC more or less just programs on the BBC. Okay, so David Tennant or Matt Smith? Matt Smith all the way. I'd like to say that he is basically, he's good at playing an old man in a young man's body. 'Cause, like, you can tell with some of his mannerisms and some of his, like, things that he does, you can tell he's definitely not from this era. You can tell, like, he's from the 60s who just can't get into the groove of things. It's really interesting to see. I mean, he's been around for 1,000 years, but Doctor Who started mainly in the 60s, and at that point, he was basically an old man. He was playing William Hartnell. William Hartnell was playing the Doctor, rather, and he was an old grandpa. So, yeah. I don't know why, I just like that. I mean, yeah, David Tennant has some of the best storylines in Doctor Who for the new Who, but I gotta go with Matt Smith because I like what he's bringing to the table. It's humorous. He knows when to be serious. He knows when to be humorous. Same thing with David Tennant. But honestly, I gotta go with Matt Smith. And for your other questions, I do not watch Sherlock. I've heard about Sherlock. I know about Sherlock and whatnot. Renee, stop it with John Locke. I don't care about the John Locke. All right, next question on Tumblr. Lily Ricksecker asks, have you ever wanted to go to your neighbor's house and shit on their front porch? And now, last but not least, we go on to the YouTube questions. We have 3 people asking questions. One of them I'm gonna negate, because, like, everyone's asking, like, 2 questions, so I'm gonna just cross out one of them. Okay, Mwalalalalalalala. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, obviously. I'll put it on the screen now. But, they asked, hi, Smarty, I wanted to ask you, what are your favorite TV shows besides Doctor Who? I'm gonna just list them off right now, get it out of the way. But, my favorite TV shows include, Breaking Bad. I like The Walking Dead. I'm watching Sons of Anarchy. My girlfriend introduced me to that, and I really like the show. It's pretty awesome. And then if I'm gonna go with, like, adolescent/childhood favorites, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Freakazoid, Batman the Animated Series, and Teen Titans. So, yeah, Teen Titans is mainly one of my favorite cartoons, rather. But, yeah, that should be the thing that answers your question. You have another question, but that's the one I'm going to cross out for now, because I tried doing this before, and it took me, like, forever to try and even think of Greek goddesses and stuff like that. You'll find out next time when we do this, but, yeah, mwah-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, you will find out that answer in the next episode. Show Me to the Exit has 2 questions, and these 2 I can answer pretty quickly, but number 1, what is your off-business relationship with Chilled Chaos? And obviously you follow that up with, cause on camera you 2 fight like an old married couple, and it confuses us. Oh dear God, I haven't thought of that, but, yeah. I understand what a lot of people think, that me and Chilled hate each other, but let me answer that question with a counter question. If Chilled hated me, like 100% I hope he dies hated me, why would I be on his YouTube channel? Why would I have done the Troll Wars with him? Why would I have done the Gauntlet with him? Why would I be on his live streams? Why would I record videos with him? Why would I want to do a meetup with him? Like, we've talked about doing a meetup, like, somewhere in New York or something like that. At one point we've discussed it, but nothing's come to fruition. But why would I actively want to work with him and him wanting to work with me if he actually hated me? So, yeah, we're friends. We're actually really good friends. I actually consider him on YouTube one of my best friends in the world. However, I can understand what you guys think, because when we record, we kind of want to keep the persona of the back and forth, because there's always that, like, For comedy, it always works with the straight man and the silly person, and, like, in the sense of, like, I'll say something silly and he'll negate it by putting me down or something like that. That's how it usually works in comedy, like the Abbott and Costello routine, or the Honeymooners. That's how it works. So, we don't actually hate each other. It's literally, it was all a ruse. No, we actually don't hate each other. So, hopefully that answers your question. And your second question, how long did it take you to get a partnership? Well, I didn't get a partnership until, I want to say, 2011? I think 2011 was the time I got it. 2011, 2010, around that area of time. But what happened was, basically, everyone was getting partnerships. Chilled, Kutra, Nova, Z. Most of the people who Junkyard had was, like, one of the first people to get a partnership. And what happened was, at one point, I was just looking through my emails, and I got a letter from Machinima saying, partnership opportunity. So I called up Shore Wars from Respawn on Skype or whatever, and I was like, hey, is this real? Like, is this a legitimate thing? And he was like, yep, I created that email. We're sending out partnership opportunities, and I imagine you got one, so do you want to take it on? And after a few days of thinking, I signed the contract, I signed the contract, rather, and a partner I became. So, yeah, hopefully that answers the question. It took me a couple of months, but they sent me the offer, and I accepted. And the last question, and this is one that I think a lot of you might as well, like, know about, but I'm gonna just answer it right now. Tired Crazy Man 21 asks, what happened to Jack Walter's superhero? Or as he says it, what happened to Jack Walter's superhero? Because when I speak like that, that means it's in capitals. No, but in all seriousness, what happened to Jack Walter's superhero? It kind of stopped. I was interested in doing it, but like I said, me and Quackjag sort of went our separate ways. It's not like we had a falling out or we hate each other. We still talk to each other. It's just I could never really reach him because he has college, he has work and stuff like that. So we never really got a chance to proceed with Jack Walters. We did like 5 or 4 episodes and it stopped. At this point, in what I'm doing now, I would love to pick it up again, maybe as like a mini-series, like a 5 to 7 part series. I've thought about some ideas, but I'd rather, if I was gonna do it, I would rather continue with Josh because we have the best chemistry when it comes to writing the series. So I would rather work with him on it. So who knows, maybe something will occur in the future where we actually are working prominently on the series. So yeah, that ends another edition of Ask Smarty. If you guys are interested in asking questions for the show and having them answered, please do so. You can ask on Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, or in the comments below. But mainly, most of all, if you want first priority, if you want the top priority in your questions being answered, do yourself a favor, make a video response, send it to me in the comments of this video. Like, you can do a little video response thing, put it there, and I'll pick from them, and that'll be it. You will get the first question to be asked. Anyway, so with that said, I'm out of breath for some reason, but yeah, I will talk to you guys later. This is Smarty, signing off.